Hey guys, welcome back. Time for a little bit of Lego action tonight. And I do have to do the technical stuff here real quick. Make sure everything is green. Hope everybody's having an awesome hump day. Testing, testing. Testing. We're good to go. We are greenlit. Just realized one of my wires was not actually plugged in. Sweet. Alright guys, I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes here. And if you're joining me, that means you've been waiting for about a year for me to get this tutorial out. Apologies for that. And it's probably not been a year, but it's been months. I think summertime. I talked about doing this build tutorial. Main reason I didn't really start it was actually, I really don't have a good excuse for this one. I just guess I got sidetracked. Probably with the amusement park, and maybe I just felt like there wasn't much interest in this whole type of deal. You can see because I'm flying around here, I'm doing this in Sandbox, and guys, I apologize for you folks that hate Sandbox. I get it, but I was taking a lot of time, you know, in live streams. You know, I try to be respectful of people's time. So I wanted to make sure, you know, farming wasn't going to be a problem. You know, just wasting time running back and forth between bays, and I forgot this or I forgot that. The time to farm this stuff, no doubt. So, yeah. Alright, guys. Almost there. We're about 2.5 in. It's going to be just in time for nightfall. You can kind of see I'm off on this wheel here. That should be down one more build. So he's not exactly where he belongs. That's probably an easy fix. Just go ahead and pop a new floor piece on there. Now I'm not going to build off of this one. This is just kind of going to be here in case I forget the steps or I get stuck. Because that never happens. Alright, so go ahead and... Uh-oh. Why won't it let me build that? Probably because that pesky tire is there, so I'm gonna, you know... I'm gonna come back out a little ways on this for that reason. But... it'll do its job. Okay, so now that tire is set down a little lower. And we should be okay there. Or I could just come in one more. That really puts it down. So yeah, depending on how much you want it digging into the track there. Alright. So probably the most challenging thing of this build is going to be getting the tires to match the angle of the track. And guys, I've experimented with this track. And it's not really a track in the light of this vehicle design, it's a cable. So the cable, it's got to go straight and it's got to go at the same angle. And you see I stair-stepped it down here, two nudges down. Or 2 nudges up, depending on which way you're going with the cable. And that was the right angle. So I'll kind of show you why that matters. Down here you see I've got 2 dynamics right next to each other. And maybe I can get that out away from the station here a little bit so you can see more what I'm talking about. Okay, so yeah, 2 dynamics. The center is 2 dynamics, the rear is 2 dynamics, but then there's a little bit of overhang on the front and back, and that was by design. But that kind of limits, the angle of the track. So that's kind of why, the funny thing is that vehicle has never trashed these trees before. But since one of these updates lately, every time it goes by the station now, it trashes one of the trees. And here's another thing that's been happening that's new. It never used to try to jump up. It used to just park itself all nice and cozy, all nice and purty like. It doesn't do that anymore. Now I have to kind of fiddle with it a little bit so that it stays level and it parks itself. Now maybe I can put some higher builds up here. Maybe it's trying to walk up that. That could very well be. I thought maybe I'd see what happened if I were to, just put another build up here or something. I was half wondering if that was going to pop tires. I guess we're good. Alright. That gives it a little bit higher. And hopefully it won't be quite an issue. So anyway, I'm going to show you guys how to build this completely from nothing. The track is, or the cable I should say, is easy. It's the stair-stepping part that gets tough. And then, of course, matching the wheels to the right angle gets tough. But again, we're going to walk you through all this as best as we can. And guys, we're about that 5-minute mark, just a little over, so let's build. Hey, Joker, what is up? What are you doing up? By my count, you should have been in bed for a hot minute now. But good to see you tonight. I actually just got back from my church group. Yeah, this one was a long time coming, for sure. Alright, guys. I will go ahead. I'm not quite sure where I want to build this yet. I want to be relatively close-ish. In case I get stuck, I forget the steps. So I think I'm going to back away a good 100 meters or more from that build. And kind of build it over here somewheres. As a matter of fact, this might be real neat to have it like adjacent to this little land piece, kind of like nestled in here somehow. Let me mentally chew on that while I get my face out of the picture. Alright, we are all set. Lying in bed. Alright, guy. Oh, that's new. Unless I built that and just don't remember. I don't know why I would have built that. Okay, anyway. So yeah, let's go ahead and build this thing, guys. Now, what you have to think about when you're doing the cable car, again, because the cable's going to be one way. It's going to be a straight shot no matter what you're, whether or not you're starting at the ground level or whether or not you're starting up at your mountain peak or summit level, whatever you're building to. It's going to be the same 2 nudges for each build. And another reason I liked that slope was the cable car returned to the lower station automatically without going like lightning speed toward the lower station. So it was better for cushioning the build, once it got back down to the bottom station. So I honestly wouldn't go steeper than this because you do risk, it kind of slamming into the base there and causing problems. So yeah, this is probably about as steep as I would go. So anyway, getting back to what I was saying, you need to figure out which side of this thing you want to start from. So in other words, if you really, really want the station to go in a very specific spot on the mountain, that's where you start. And then that will dictate where your cable lands on the ground level if that doesn't really matter so much. And vice versa, if you want the lower station to really be in a very specific spot, You know, like I was looking at that little land piece over there to the side. Then I would start my cable down there, and just wherever it happened to meet the mountain is where it would meet the mountain. And then I would just work it out from there. So it really just depends on where you want the more important station to be nestled in perfectly. So now this, you know, the building can be built around it. Where we're going to start is just the cable and the vehicle. We're not going to worry about stations just yet. I can show you guys that later on. So anyway, getting back to what I was saying about, you know, choosing. You must choose wisely, young Padawan. And I'm just going to take a quick look at the land up here and kind of see, just eyeballing it from down that way, it looked like this thing was going to meet around here somewhere. You know, it might ram right into the side of this thing, or it might go just past it to the side. So one way we can find that out is just put down a whole bunch of dummy builds. Okay, I think that's using the same grain as the other one. I hope. Can't even see it anymore. Had to fight Storm King. Huh. Had to fight Storm King. I guess you had the itch or something, huh? Oh, good. I'm glad to hear they did that with launch pads. That's nice. Okay, honestly, I can't tell if this is to world green or not. Okay, I'm facing north. It's gotta be. Oops. So another reason I really like Sandbox is you don't have to worry about running out of mats for doing stuff like this. You just build at your heart's content. Okay, I can kind of see we're not exactly going that way. Oh, and the flying. Yeah, the flying is nice too, if I'm being honest. Okay, wow, this cable car is going to go over... No, something's wrong. I didn't point that right. I did not point that right at all. I'm trying to go right there. Whoops. Apparently you cannot mark in build mode. Okay, so that gives me a better line of sight now. Okay, I'm not feeling that at all. So we might be building somewhat of an odd station to hit this where I want to hit it. Like that. Okay, I don't know how close I'm going to be. That's getting kind of close. Okay, maybe I can kind of weasel it out this way just a little bit more. And then I can use this little inlet as a starting point. And then hopefully that'll be close enough to that little chunk of land I wanted to use. Or I can just make it make sense with building over to it. Okay, my brain is hatching babies. So, brain babies. I'm thinking this probably isn't going to work out very well. It's just too close to the other one. Okay, so I might actually start this one off from like over here somewhere. Because I can already see if I move the cable back. Actually, this might work out. I'm going to start it from right about here. Yeah, and I'm just going to go ahead and get this close-ish. And hopefully I can just make that make a little more sense when it gets going. But I was hoping to be able to use that piece of rock like as part of the station. But it's making my brains itch right now, and it's just probably not going to work out. Okay. So, I'm going to come back about where the other one is-ish. Maybe right about here would be a real nice place. And guys, I love me my foundation pieces. This is how it all starts. One of these bad boys. And, God, it's been so long since I've constructed one of these. I might have to go back and see if I can match these right. Okay, yeah, so that's just off the sides. It's a pretty simple 6 nudges. And I'm really going to want this grounded. Like, really grounded. So I'm going to come in from like a lower elevation spot and then nudge that back into the dirt so it's nice and underground. And just to kind of line it up right, that tree's probably going to have to go, and that's okay. Actually, they might both have to go, and that's okay. Let's try it right about here. Okay, so again, that's going to go lower elevation, then I'm going to walk that way back. Oops. Okay, now that's nice and grounded. And the reason I say make sure it's good and grounded is because I've built this before, and Joker was actually watching me while I was building this in the very early stages at the top of that. He had signed into my lobby that day, and we were just BSing. But that whole thing tipped over when I turned the thrusters on to try to retrack the wheels. They had slightly fallen off to one of the sides. And as soon as I turned those side thrusters on, I just watched the track, the vehicle, everything just topple over sideways. It was just, yeah, it was a great time. So we're going to make sure, if nothing else, this thing is solid and secured, you know, and it's going to have more than one point of contact to the ground. So let's go ahead and do just that. I'm going to come down one full build. And I'm going to go 6 back just like the other one. Okay. And then just like so. And you can make these any angle you want. You know, just kind of depending on what you want it to look like. Okay, that's grounded once again. And then again, just for stylish, you know, reasons or just whatever. Same type of thing here. Okay, that's good and grounded. Wow, that thing's on a hair trigger. It's like there's some after movement every time I move. Maybe it's just me. Could just be me. I don't know if that'll be seen. Yeah, ish. Not to the point I feel like I need it there. Ah, nuts. Okay, well, it's there now. Alright, guys. And then, yeah, from here you just start the cable. So I like to come out to kind of make it look like it's under spring tension or something or other. I don't know exactly what you want to call that. I'm not exactly a... I'm not an engineer by any means. But I will just go ahead and do those 2 nudges up on every build. And actually that might not be where that belongs. I'll find out here in a moment. Now it's hard for me to tell, like, where that line is. Okay, so there it is, and you're going to want to verify that those are all 2 nudges. And, you know, don't get too far into the build before you start realizing there's a big boo-boo. Especially if you're doing this in survival. Okay, so that's going to line up perfectly. Booyah. So again, just kind of looking at it now, it almost looks like that's under spring tension or something. It looks like it structurally makes sense. And then, guys, it's going to be just a lot of this all the way up to the top. Now, I'm not going to build this whole thing on stream tonight. I think the main point I wanted to get to is the vehicle. You know, once you see the build steps for this, the rest is just the time. See, I'm going to move on from the track, but I do need to make it big enough so that we can, A, build our car, and then B, I do want to test it for a little bit of a distance to make sure it's rolling properly and whatnot. Tires are not doing anything they're not supposed to do, so on and so forth. Oh, and check this out. It is dark out. Try to light things up a little bit better for y'all. And another way to verify all these are right, you know, just kind of look down the angle there, or up. And that should help you out a bit. Okay, so this is going to be pretty cool. It's going to kind of come down pretty close to this walking path, so it'll be parked somewhat over that. That should be neat. Oh, and we're going to be putting other supports down too, by the way, as we build this thing, you know, farther and farther out. So we're not just going to be relying on these 4 points of contact at one end. We're going to be putting several arms grounded on the way up. Okay, once I get into a bit of a groove, these blocks go in a lot quicker. And going down is harder, by the way. Going up is quicker, because you can just do your 2 nudges up. Going down, actually going down, you can do the same thing. But you have to put a dummy build under each one. I've shown that in other videos, so I'm not going to take time to do that now. But yeah, if you're starting at the top and working your way down, you're going to have to put, like, you know, this on there so that you can give yourself a cursor point to then, you know, get your 2 nudges down Otherwise, there's no build there to do it on. And then you'll just, you can do that for so many out, I think 4 or 5 out, then you have to put another one down. And then you can nudge them out another 4, maybe 5, I can't really remember. But yeah, again, it just takes a little bit of time, but once the cable is in, the cable is in, and you never have to mess with it again. That's the beauty of this build. Unlike my roller coasters and my other suspended vehicles, this has never been broken by an update. The worst that's happening right now is it's trying to jump the track at the bottom, which it never used to do. But, it didn't break. It's not broken. And then at the top station, sadly, I built awful close to the rock. And back then, the wheel was able to lift up and over the rock. It wasn't a big deal. And it parked properly. But now it will not lift up and over that piece of land. And of course, I can't clear that. So I just can't completely park it at the upper station anymore. It doesn't quite fit all the way up in there. But, yeah, the build has never actually broken. It's always ran super smooth. It's always, went up on the track, no problem. It's always come back down on its own, no problem. So this is at least something we don't have to worry about update breakage. And if you're doing this in survival, I thought about putting one of these in my survival, because I have a survival map where the grasslands is real close to the snow biome, probably about this distance. So I thought, how cool would it be to build a base here, grasslands base, and then the cable car would land in the base, the station would be in the base and everything, and then same thing topside. You'd have your snow biome base at the other station. I just thought that would be super cool. Of course, in Sandbox, this is more just for fun, theme park type stuff. If you want to build a ski resort, that kind of deal, you probably saw that building I had going next to my upper station on the other side. It's incomplete. My daughter actually said, "Hey, Dad, let's build a really cool ski resort together." I was like, "Yeah, I'm down." We played the game for a few hours. It was fun. This was probably about 6 months ago or more. And for those of you guys familiar with the Lego World Builder competition that took place last year, I named a character after that whole thing happening. The character that I was going to have in charge of the quote-unquote failing ski resort was going to be Neva Herd, like N-E-V-A, last name Herd, like a herd of animals. So anyway, if I, somehow won that Lego Builder World Challenge, whatever, and they asked me where I got that name from, I would have said, "Oh yeah, my daughter and I were building this, and then I never heard back." So yeah, that's why that ski resort is only just begun. Okay, guys, that's a good amount of track. I can't run it far, but I can run it. I might just put a few more out here, right by the river here. I guess I'll call it like well spaced. I mean, you don't want too many supports. You got to think about build limits. That counts. Boo-boo is a scientific term. It's metric. Very scientific. And so is counting Mississippi's for time measurements, by the way, as we found out in my my silver bullet video. Alright, I think I'm good with that placement. And just like on the monorails, guys, these go one peg into the track. And I'm going to go one peg on that build. Reason being is to make sure that the wheel's clear. Because remember, they're going to dig down into the track when it's weighted. So we don't want, the wheels catching this to the point it's going to start lifting up as it clears. And if we had that slid over 3 more pegs, it would slightly start doing that. Yeah, thanks, Joker. Appreciate you hanging out, man. Have a good night. Alright, and then up here I like to go 3 nudges. But centered from the back. Perfect. Go ahead and ground this sucker. And then I'm going to put an end cap here because I can't tell you how many times I'm test driving, quote unquote test driving something, and then I forget what button I'm on and I panic and then I hit the wrong button and I drive the vehicle off the track. So no more of that ever happening again. I have learned my lessons thoroughly. I will go ahead and make sure I put a bumper at the end. Alright, that looks more legit. So yeah, the bumper doesn't have to be anything super big, super elaborate. Just, you know, simple foundation piece here will do the job. And let's boogie. So I am going to somewhat have to center these now to the floor. We have to build our building platform. And honestly, believe it or not, that's a lot easier said or done than it sounds. But what I'm going to do is just start putting a whole bunch of these down. And I need to think now, I don't want the vehicle too high. I'm going to have to go kind of measure this out, slash scientifically eyeball it. Okay, so that's the vehicle dropped. Ouch. Totally saw that. I did it on purpose. Okay, so I'm about 1 build plus about 2 from that spot, from the ground. So yeah, one of these slightly grounded, then another one on top will get that up pretty high over the rail, and that's what we want. And the center, I'm going to make it right about here. This doesn't have to be perfect or anything. Just make sure it's centered to the track. That's what's most important right now. So make sure it's, you know, perfectly symmetrical left and right. And then again, we're going to come down 2 builds there, and then our platform's going to stand right here. So for that, I will do... Let's do 2 of these. And again, these must be centered. The golden rule of getting the monorail right, or in this case the cable car, is make sure it's centered. Okay, then from here it really doesn't matter where this goes, just again as long as it's centered. In fact, I'm going to center it anyway so that it's weighted and massed, and it doesn't want to tip left, right, or back or forward or anything. And that is not centered. Fail. Okay, make sure this is good and grounded. And so it is. Now we can bust these out. Bye-bye. Feels like I'm doing something wrong. I am doing something wrong. Okay. Matter of fact, just to give it a little bit more leverage. Alright, so from here, I think yeah, wow. I cannot count pigs tonight. Okay, now we're going to snap this to the other floor piece, but make sure it's centered. Because sometimes these don't snap right. So we really have to look down the side here and make sure that actually took. And it did. Okay, now from the back here, guys, it's going to be a half wall build. So we're going to have to scroll down the never-ending list of wall builds here. And we're going to come... This is what I used. You know, you can use... really whatever you want, but I would stick to wood builds, folks. I tried building one of these out of the granite because I liked the colors better, and it was just digging into the track. The tires kept falling off to the left or to the right one way or another, so it was just too doggone heavy. Now that was many, many updates ago, so who knows now? Just kind of, you know, sharing what I know. So I'm going to build it to what I know and just, you know, stick to that design. Okay, just like that. And then I can't remember now. I think that goes flush. Like that. And then we got to match this. And this is a little bit tricky because it's not... it's not flush down here. It's 2 spaces off, as you saw me do here a second ago. So just like that. Perfect. And then this one should be flush. And I'm going to go validate this, by the way, before I get too far into this build. Okay, that should be flush. Perfect. There goes the tree. Oh, it's on top of it. Okay. I knew it was flush, but I went the wrong way with the flushing. This over here is the Super Bowl. That over there is the toilet bowl. Okay, so that's where he belongs. Right? Yes. That's where he belongs. And then this one down here, again, you got to place the dummy build so you have a cursor point. Or you can just use the build. That might actually work. Nope. Oops. I boo-booed. Metric. Boy, really hard to tell where that lines up. Okay, that should have done it. Perfect. Oh, nuts, I did it the wrong way. A stickler for the rules, guys. There it is. Alright, so that's the way the slope should look now. It's a zigzag, but it matches the angle of the cable. Not perfectly, but if you go too steep on the track, then it's even farther apart. Like, it's even worse. And I just want to look at that one more time, make sure I did that right. Because the reason this has to line up right is the roof pieces. You see I've got these like nestled one on top of another. So like it all starts with the way it's built from like what I'm working on right now. Otherwise the rest of the build starts not lining up right. So yeah, just let me take a quick peek here. Yeah, it's definitely on top of that build. So I know I got that part right. And then yeah, that's definitely 2 nudges down there and there. Perfect, perfect. Yeah, and it goes on top of the wall. So we are good to go. We are golden. Alright guys, once you've got, this is the hard part. Once you've got this part done, the rest kind of comes together easily. So we're going to go ahead and snap a couple more of these on, one on either side. Just like so. And again, make sure that's lined up nice and straight. And I'm perfect. Nailed it. Alright. From here, it's walls and roof. Now, I really, really like the blue stuff, guys. Y'all know me. I love these wall builds. However, I didn't like all of these to be this style because you couldn't see through it. I wanted something more window. And honestly, it pained me to do it, but I had to use a door as a window to really make it feel open air, or at least a windowed type of vehicle. So yeah, you probably have to use a little bit of imagination in that respect. But this is one of the pieces I went for right here. So yeah, you can do something like that. Now, depending on where you want the doors to go, probably on this side is the appropriate side for that. Because it'll make more sense with the stations. Because remember, the stations have to stair-step with the vehicle. So, you're going to have stairs here connecting, the platform here to the platform here. So, if you want the stairs to be up close to the vehicle, then a door won't work. The stairs will be in the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay, that's all nice and lined up. Perfect. Do the exact same thing. Other end. Alright. Now the fill-ins, I did use the walls that I normally like to use. But I tried to find one that was, as open as possible. I think this one. Or maybe it was this one. Or I think these are the same, just the aesthetics are a little bit different. See, I would go like right there. Or I think I like that one better. It's a little bit less like blingy. I don't know how else to put that. Oh, and make mental note of this, guys. These wall builds in particular, there's a little teeny tiny lip that sticks out right there where my cursor's pointing. It's ever so slight, but if your station is only one peg, like all my other designs, that will actually fuse to the station. So just because it looks like you have a one peg gap here, this wall does not really count that as a space at all. It'll fuse. So buyer beware of that. Wanted to throw that out there. That was driving me absolutely bonkers before, trying to figure out what was going wrong with my build. And that was it. I kept fusing it to the station. Okay, so just like that. And of course I'm going to rinse, lather, and repeat. Alright, so now the ends. You might be wondering how I capped the ends. And guys, this is where I really wanted to use some of the stone builds. But again, it just weighted it way too much, and it was causing way too many problems. I had to abandon the idea. But since we're not actually on the cable right now, I can show it to you without any kind of consequences. But this is how I really wanted to cap the ends. It worked. It flowed. It looked legit. But again, stone. It didn't like it. So, yeah, we're not going to do that. Instead... And wow, for the life of me now, I can't even remember what I did to make that protrude out the way it does. So has anybody ever noticed when you play She-Hulk, I think her name is, in Legos, she's green, like She-Hulk is supposed to be. But when you play regular Fortnite, same game, but like, you know, OG or Battle Royale, whatever, she's red. I don't understand. I've never seen a red She-Hulk before, or a red Hulk of any kind. So I don't know. If somebody's watching and they can help me out. Inquiring minds want to know. Alright folks, so here, I guess I did a small build. Yeah, I sure did. So that sticks out a half a build. What is that? A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that's an 8 by. Okay, I used probably that. Yeah, it's got the... No, I did not use that. I use that? Huh. By the design, I can't tell what I used. This one. There we go. That looks more like it. I gotta put that away anyway. Okay, so how did I do that in the front then? Boy, good thing we don't have far to fly. Oh, I see. I did 2 window pieces. Okay, yeah, that was smart because that was all one level. There were no stairs or anything in the way. Okay, so I can use 2 doors and then the skinny. Let's see how I did the back end. Okay, so I put the 2 doors up front and then the skinny and back. Got it. And again, that was to account for the staircase that would be in the way of the doors otherwise. So yeah, these guts to go. Alright. Excellent. I just realized I switched those around. And that might have been for a reason. I need to go back over there and look at the other vehicle and see which way those little pegs are pointing. Those can get in the way sometimes. Okay, they're pointing out. So yeah, I need to flip those other two around down there. So I must have done that for a reason. It might have had something to do with, you know, interior decorating or lights or something. I kind of like how the legs are almost looking like they're walking or something. But they're flying legs. Wait a minute. That's right. That one had the space there, I think. Okay, go ahead and set those in place. And with the exception of fixing these, we are good to go on the walls. Boom, baby. Okay, that's it. That's the look of the vehicle. So we're straight there. From here, it is roof time. And guys, this is another kind of tricky part. It might take me a try or two to get this right. Oh, and oh my goodness, I hope I didn't build this too close to the track. That is awful close to the track. Maybe it was 3 builds down. Oh no. Alright, so for roof pieces, I'm gonna pretend that's not gonna be a problem for right now. I went for these for the look. I liked the colors the best, but not only that, they seem to shape the best. So I think it was this one. Oh man, I'm too high up. Well, couple of different things I can do to fix it. I can build the roof where I can build the roof right now, where it's not going to, you know, fuse. And then drop the wheels, and after I drop them, I can finish the roof. That's one way to do it. Okay, so it looks like that goes... Kind of hard to tell because I don't know where the corner piece goes. Oh, wow. Okay. So it looks like we got a big one, a big one, and a little one. And then the corner pieces. Okay, I think center's going to be 2 out. As far out as it can go before it red lights. So I need to put it right there, but that's a problem. Okay, that's not fused, so I got away with that barely. Alright, go ahead and flip that around, and oh. Now I should be able to go large. One on either side. And then the caps should make it look like it's rounded off on the front end. Now normally, again, I would put the 2 caps in here, but I can't build them right now, otherwise that might fuse. It's so close. I mean, I kind of want to do it just to see what happens. The problem is if it fuses, I got to break them out anyway. I'm just going to go for it. It's probably fused. But yeah, if I go to drop this out from down here and it doesn't fall, that I'll know exactly what to do. I'll just break those 2 roof pieces out and we'll be good to go. Something else I really wasn't figuring on was this pesky I need, the cable needs room, or the wheel assemblies need room. And these are usually centered. And that's definitely going to fuse if I try to stair-step that out. So yeah, I probably need to drop this thing anyway. That's frustrating. Or I can just break the track. It'll probably be quicker to break a little bit of the track. And I need to repair that track before I drop wheels on it, because if I do that, 2 separated... See, that was fused. 2 separated pieces coming together will pop tires. Okay, that gives us the wiggle room we need to complete our build here. Alright guys, and then the front end should be pretty straightforward, because you can basically just do the exact same thing we did and butt that all the way up to the back end there. Okay, so that should be just like that, nice and butted up against that wall. Like so. And then for this one, I went ahead and just did large. And then the caps. And then exact same thing down here. But it all the way up against that wall build. Okay, and then I think I just capped the front. I can't remember. Yeah. Then you just have to cap the front. And there you have it. It's all nice and pretty like. Wait a minute, that sticks out too far. So I must have went a half build here, not a full. Because they should all look about even. There it is. Okay, so all that roof overhang now is pretty much even all the way around each segment of roof. And there it is, guys. Now to do the front, you can do any old wall build. But, again, I kind of like the openness of the door. So... you can just kind of drop it in like that. Or, I think, actually, I didn't use the door build. I think I used a window. Possibly this. Okay, so, you know, you can do it how you want. A couple of different options there. I might have even done just the single window. But it's been so long, I just can't remember. And honestly, I don't care enough about that detail, you know, to go look at the other building. But for now, I'll just go ahead and cap it this way. Okay, and I know the floor is open here. Don't worry, we're going to get to that. We're going to floor this place, like interior flooring. So for right now, you know, it's open, but that's okay. And the flooring can be stone, by the way. I didn't see that weighing down the vehicle too much. Like, that was okay to do. Alright, guys, from here, we know that our vehicle is centered to the track. So what we have to do from this point is we have to line the wheel arms with the grade of the track. So the way I do that... and I think I centered. This is kind of what I was talking about before. This was dead center. And this is the only one that I really cared about. This was just kind of a starter. And you can do kind of like a one peg, you know, side. That would be more of a gradual... but I'm pretty sure I did a 2. Whoops. Matter of fact, I'm going to go over here and look to make sure I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I did 2 at a time, and that was for a reason. We needed to get this thing out, you know, to the side far enough to where we had room for wheel assembly type of things. So yeah, we need to go, if we're going to match this design, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 4x4s going up at a stair step. And then a couple of wall builds going up. Got it. Okay, so make sure that's centered, and it is. Now remember, the arm has to go in the direction your supports are not. So on this particular truck, I've got my supports going this way. That means the arms have to go the opposite direction. Otherwise, the arm crashes into the support. I'm speaking from personal experience. It really stinks when you build the arm going the wrong direction. Okay guys, so from here I was mentioning wall builds, and I really like these dark wooden pieces. And I like 2 of them just for some redundancy in case one of them were to break for whatever the reason. There's another one, you know, holding up the assembly. Okay, just like so. Okay, and then from here... Let's see, how did I do this? Actually, I might have to go count pegs, because now I'm not sure how I lined that. I might just had to eyeball it. I might have built the track. And then, done the rest later. Okay, that one comes back to the 3rd spot. Got it. This one comes back to the 4th spot. Okay. Okay, so this one's going to come back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this one's going to be 12. Alright, just like that. Go ahead and flush up your wall builds as per the other one. Alright, sweet deal. And you can even see the angle of that. It's not perfect. Of course, I'm not exactly looking straight on, but you can kind of see it's still off a little bit. As per the angle of the other track. I guess if I wanted to, because the front end is going to drop a little bit. And I remember that happening on the other vehicle too, slightly. I mean, it wasn't so bad, you know, it ruined the whole thing, but, you know, if we wanted to fix that, we could move that front one forward a little more. And this one, you know, forward even more from there, or this one back to the left even. But our cables are going to be the same angle, so yeah, I might just go ahead and do that. Just to make sure it's a little bit more level than what I had on my original build. I just realized something. I'm going to have to... I'm going to have to do something here because I cannot drop this. There's no track to drop it on. I can't believe I didn't think about that before. Oh, wow. All because I didn't space this right. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, I'm going to figure out how to get that thing tracked later. For right now... Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I can do that. Just in the meantime. That'll allow it to drop. It won't be fused. And then I can just put those two little diagonal ones back in at a later time. And I'll still have to bust out the two front pieces of the roofs. Okay, yeah, we'll make it work. I was afraid of that. Wow, all sorts of stuff popping off there. I'm not even reading it, so I have no idea what just happened there. I guess I leveled or something. I never understand why I'm being rewarded in Legos. Like, these things pop off all the time. I'm usually just focused on building. I'm like, huh. Sounds like I'm getting something kind of cool. I have no idea what it is, but I'll take it. Alrighty. Alright guys, it's time for wheel assemblies. Now again, I'm going to want to make sure I get these right the first time. So the key to it all is this build right here. And honestly, I didn't like this because that was a single point of failure. So in other words, if that one piece of wood breaks, this entire wheel assembly breaks off. So I don't like that. This is something I wanted to fix on my next model. So instead of putting one great big long build here, what I might do is throw in, you know, 4 individual blocks. That way if the front one breaks, everything else survives. Or vice versa if just another random one breaks. Okay, so that looks like it is dead centered in one peg. And I believe that matches on all of these. Yes, it does. So again, making sure this centers now. Just like so. Wait a minute. That ain't right. I know, it's going to be a lot of back and forth here, folks. Apologies. But this has got to be spaced right. If these tires don't match, it just causes all kinds of problems. So... God, it's a nightmare just looking at this thing. Okay, the important pieces are actually going to be here. Because that's your bumpers. And looks like right behind that, those are the same builds. And it only hangs on by one peg. Alright. Wow. I didn't realize how brittle this thing was. I mean, I've never had a problem with it. It's never broken or even damaged for that matter, but still. If this was the roller coaster, I would not be okay with that. And I can't remember how those went. Like that, maybe? My poor Xbox is working overtime right now. Okay, so yeah, that's all squared away. Got that one there. Wow, that's rough. Okay, that one has big circle, that one has no circle. That one is pretty flush. Alright. How do you guys like my little codes? Big circle, no circle, flush. You're like, what is he talking about right now? It'll all make sense here in a moment. I hope. Okay, I kind of remember placing these now. Big tires, guys. Big, meaty tires. It's meat-tastic. Okay, so no circle. Circle. So far, so good. Okay, I can tell just by looking at it, that's right. Alright, sweet freaking deal. So that's it. That's what that should look like. And that's the basic bare bones now of the design. And from here, I just basically matched that on the other side with floor builds. Now, I suppose what I could do... Actually, no, we don't need to do anything fancy here. We just need to put the floor builds down. I think that goes there to kind of make it look even. Yes, sir, Bob. Very nice. Wait a minute. Okay, that's what that should look like. Okay, now the side wheels. The pesky side wheels. Okay, now if you didn't think it looked like a nightmare before, now it's really going to look like a nightmare. So these are self-mounted. Those tires are spaced just right. Those go on whatever pre-existing build is there. We're good to go. These two require 2 floor builds going down, and then a third for the one right below. And then 2 more after that for the tail end. Yeah, wow, okay. My brain is kind of hurting just looking at that. Hershey Kiss Kit, hey, what is going on? Thanks for joining me for some Lego action here. This is one of my favorite builds, if I'm being honest. I really had fun with the cable car. Okay, just like that. Like so. Okay, I don't think I can actually put a tire there. Oh, I sure can. I think that one stuck out a peg. It still doesn't look right. It looks wildly out of place there. Ah, it's doing this to me today. Okay. Well, maybe, man, that's probably right. That's right, because I remember, like, the front tire and the back tire were lined up right. And then the 2 in the middle were kind of tricky, so I just kind of left it that way. Because if I dropped this one down and another one, it was, like, too much. So yeah, this is about what we need. And then on the back side, I just kind of did it the same. I just matched them up to where they needed to be here. Oh, look at that, I boo-booed. And actually, I see I'm off on my spacing on this one. Okay, I don't remember if those were centered or if I had those coming in. I need to double check that too. We want it kind of hugging the rail or the cable. It's never too late to use the discount code. Never too late. The 30 minutes is relative. So, you know, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Okay, I've got those centered to the wood builds. That means that the wheels are only hanging out far enough to really grip the track. So this is actually just right. All right, boom, baby. So I'll go ahead and start throwing wheels down here. Oh, I see what I did. Yeah, I actually like that better. And get rid of that. Apparently I already did. So yeah, this basically... Oh, I can't place that. That's right. I need to get that tire out of the way. Sometimes you have to, like, remove the tire to place a build, and then you can put the tire back. Kind of frustrating that they make us do that. Okay, so just like that, I do believe. And if I want to match it, you know, I'll just go ahead and do it basic here. Just like that. And then on this front tire, I'm going to want it... Actually, no, that's right. I don't know if that's going to let me put it there, though. Wow, that's like a whole 2 pieces off. I need to bring that tire up one more nudge if I want it to match perfect. I mean, that's probably not going to matter. Yeah, honestly, that's a lot of work to make it match perfect. I'm just going to leave it as is. I think I have it that way on the other design anyway. It'll do its job. It'll get us to where we need to go. Okay, this one here... Okay, that actually lines up perfect, so a tire can go right here. Lined up with the other one, just like that. This one will go on this build that we've placed. Over one edge that way to line up with the tire across the way. And then this one can just match up as is. Alright guys, that's it. That's the basic wheel layout. Making sure everything's nice and cozy here. No mistakes. Yeah, I think we're golden. I'll put those large wheels back in. Uh-oh. Okay, now how did I do that before? I'm not getting why I'm getting this crooked grid line for snapping. Like, sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. It's hard to know, like, what I'm doing to make it go one way or the other. Ah, maybe I had to do that? And if that be the case, I could fix that with a real quick and easy build. Whoops. Of course, you got to build it right. What? Oh, I'm over a peg. There. All right. Now it's very, very special. Okay, guys, everything's where it should be. All the tires are where they should be. I know it's kind of hard to tell right now, but the tires will work to the grade of track when I get around to dropping this sucker. So all you really got to do is put the exact same attachment on all three standing platforms here, and then we're ready to drop vehicle. Now, just kind of looking at this again, I kind of want it to park here. If I drop it, it's going to drop by quite a bit. That's like a whole wall build up, plus about a wall and a foundation. So, you know, you got to think about where this thing is going to drop to. I really should have built this higher. I can't believe I brain farted on this one. But, what I might do here is just raise the track a little bit. But, you know, I've already showed you guys the build steps for the track, so I'm not going to do that right this minute. But yeah, what I might do is just raise the track one complete build. Ah, nuts. And I'm not actually going to build this because I don't want anything to fuse. But yeah, that's actually just right. So basically I can rebuild this. And I can just barely get under the tires there. And then that'll keep this up in the air, you know, where I have it now. So yeah, I'll basically just rebuild this back here a little bit further. And this will come up, you know, another foundation piece. and it'll all work out. As a matter of fact, I could do that right now, get it started. I way overthought that. I wonder if anybody saw that before I did. But I way overthought that just now. Okay, so now I should be an exact floor piece or pillar, foundation, whatever. Okay, that's exactly where I want to be. So yeah, that'll set the stage then for my 2 nudges up the whole way across. Just to make sure nothing's gonna fuse here. Uh-oh. I want it to have just a little bit more wiggle room than that. Wow, I might need to take a quick break here. What is it? Hour 39. I really wanted to show dropping the car tonight. If I didn't have this little blunder with, you know, not getting the building platform up high enough, we'd already be there. Thanks for your patience, guys. I guess that's what happens when you take 6 months, you know, from building something, thinking you just jump right in and remember it all. I kind of remember, you know, going through all this pain on the first go-around. Of course, I was just learning how to build it at the time, but wow, I must have tore down and rebuilt things many, many times until I finally had what you saw in my video there. Alright, we're getting there. It goes a lot faster when you can just, you know, find that sweet spot. Okay, so now that'll allow it to drop a little bit, but not a lot. It'll still more or less keep it up in the air where we see it now. Which means I'm probably going to have to completely redo the support. Because now I'm not exactly a foundation piece above. Oh, but at least I get to show you how to do the blocks on the downgrade. I'll have to do that, you know, after my... where I started this new track. Or I should call it cable. Uh-oh. Oh, those are way off. Are we there yet? Wow. I didn't realize I built that far out. So yeah, actually I got home and I was almost ready to start the stream right on time. It was about 9:10 I think when I finally got it on. But I was trying to, you know, power down a quick meal. And I ate a quick pizza, like a homemade... I made a homemade pizza with all store-bought ingredients. So, yeah, that's kicking in right now, and I feel like a lot of energy. And I kind of feel like I need to get up and dance around the living room or something to burn some of this off. Like, well, I'm just kind of sitting here sweating, if I'm being honest. Alright. Ah. Another reason I really like Sandbox. I didn't have to go build one. And then I didn't have to realize I didn't have the materials to build one. Then I'd have to go farm the materials to go build one. And then the stream would take even longer. Alright. I might not have to reground the whole thing. I might be able to get away with this. Whoopsie! I thought I was one more peg over. Alright, now if I've got all my spacing right, this will line up. If I've got all my spacing right. Oh, I'm not. There it is. Okay, so we are now grounded on that side. It's like nothing ever was. And I should be able to knock this out. Oh, now we're going to have to build the... Yeah, I wanted to show you guys this. That block is going to be forever underground that I can't get after anymore. Unless I use a TNT barrel, that always does the job. TNT barrels are fun. Okay, so go ahead and snap something to the lower. Then from here you can just do the nudge thing. Just make sure again you're that 2 nudges down. No more, no less. See, you can only get 4 in there. So yeah, if you decide, you want to start at the top, you can imagine this is going to take a little bit of time. I mean, not terribly long. Either way, you're going to be spending some time on the cable. In other words, it wasn't enough to scare me off. Okay, now the vehicle's never going to come back this far because the ground is right there. So I'll probably put the supports. And keep in mind, you're going to want space for platform too, or, walking area. So this gives me the wiggle room to do all that. I'll go ahead and mount this right here. Nuts. Okay, we are once again grounded. I can't remember now how... I think it was 4. Maybe it was 6. Okay, yeah, it was 6. Not 4. Are we having fun yet? Alright. I hate having to build things twice, so apologies. Alright, so that is finally good to go. Squared away. Back to where it belongs. Actually, that still isn't right. Yeah, that's good enough. I actually think I had that first one going up too. Like that. Which means I did have those right the first time. It was 4 nudges. See, I knew something was wrong. I just had wrong what was wrong. Did that make sense? No, it was 6. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what I'll probably do is do that part later. Right now I got it grounded, so... Plus I got the support grounded over there, so yeah, the track should be secure-ish, honestly. Just so I don't have to show you guys that whole tipping of the cable. I'll just do this right the first time. Alright. Now that we got all that rectified, I can actually put these back the way they belong. Ridiculous. Make sure I'm actually knocking out the right stuff. And I am. This is the one I really don't want to get wrong. Because I built all those wheels and I don't want to build all those wheels all over again. Alright guys, we're almost done with this build, I promise. Alright. So that's all put back together nice and pretty like. And from here guys, I'm just going to match something still looks off here. This tire. Oh, it is wrong. I put it back in wrong. I knew something was off. Get back here. Remember, it's supposed to be flush. Like that. Well, it's in the right place, but it needs to go forward a little bit. Actually, no, that's about right. It really doesn't matter, I guess. Alright guys, that's it. That's our schematic or our blueprint. Now that the rails here are the cable, you can see how these tires would all make more sense. So let's go ahead and complete this sucker so I can drop it. And one thing at a time. See if I can do this a little bit more systematically for the next two. Speed this up a little bit. That was weird. I didn't get the sound effect at all that Bill just placed. Wow. Okay, that's right. Then we've got this one that sticks out. Perfect. I suppose I could have done this, you know, step one. I don't know if you guys can see that good with my torch being lit. I don't know. Does that get in the way? I do that because it gets dark and then it's hard to see for sure. But during the daylight here, I don't know. Does it just like make it harder to see because of the smoke? Why do I always forget my inventory button? Alright guys, I need to take a quick 2-minute break. I will be right back. Alright, back in business here. Thanks for your patience. Alright, back to our... Okay, now the sun's going to go down, watch. So remember that torch I just put away? Alright, I finished the wood builds on this side. I can now place tires accordingly. That one's kind of like halved. Come on, cursor, don't fail me now. I really wish I knew what I was doing here to make the grain go the wrong way. Huh, there it goes. Oh, okay, that's it. You just put it away, take it back out. And it works. Perfect. That's so much quicker than what I was trying to do. Alright, good to go, good to go. Now the outer side. And you know, now that I think about it, I might have had this a little bit different. Another thing I need to make sure is, or yeah, make real sure is going to work, is putting the bumper tires. These are super important. Make sure that's right where it needs to be. Actually, I think those need to go up. As high as they can go. Just like that. Oh, and speaking of bumpers. Let's go ahead and put one of those trusty wall pieces down. You know, we're not going to be dropping the vehicle tonight. I just remember I still got to rocket and thruster the thing out. That's going to take time. So I don't think there's going to be a test drive today. Here's our next potential problem. Will it let me place a tire here? It kind of sort of... Oh, there it goes. Okay. I'm gonna have to work something out for the back end. Let's try putting that out 2 nudges, but the tire's going to go back in where I had it. And then we'll see if it'll let me place our bumper tire. There it is. Alright, perfect. So slight modification to the back. And it looks cooler. Alright guys, so I got this 1 nudge in and then 2 back. So I'm just going to follow suit, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the next 2 sets. And then 2 of these suckers right here in the middle. There's that daylight. Okay, then it's just all 3 builds from here. The little itty bitties. Just because it does look better, never mind. I'd have to change all the other ones, and I don't want to do all that. But for the back one, I absolutely have to. Alright, go ahead and tire these suckers out. Make sure everything lines up. Oh, I'm like, where is my thing? I forgot to put the build down. Alright, everything's nice and symmetrical. Perfect. Do the exact same thing over here. There it is. Okay, now you can see the wheels and the track conform. Everything's pretty close, but see how it gets a little bit fatter the more forward you go. So it is going to have that slight lean forward. Now, looking at this, you know, if I really wanted to reconcile that, I would move this front arm forward until the spacing here looked more like it did back here. And then for this one, same thing. I'd probably move it out this way a little bit until the spacing was more like it was here. But wow, it's awful close. Like, I don't think that's worth really messing with. Like right there's barely a tire that fits in there. Right here, barely a tire, so that's actually the same. This is the one that's off a little. Actually, no. Yeah, okay, this one's off a little. So yeah, I guess what I would do then is move this forward 4 blocks, and then that would bring these tires up, you know, here, and then that would fill it in better. Should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? Honestly, it's not going to have that much of a lean. It's going to be just like my other vehicle. And it's pretty doggone level. I mean, when this whole thing drops, the difference really isn't going to be very noticeable. But I've got this funny feeling like I should just go ahead and do that. Move it forward those 4 blocks. And then if I wanted to be really strict about it, see how these... I would go by the front 2 wheels. Yeah, that would have to go back another one. So yeah, I could rip out the rear and the forward, you know, just to make sure this thing is really nice and level. The good news is that that's pretty quick and easy to do once you have one arm already built. Oh no! Good thing that was grounded. That would have ruined my whole day. What is happening right now? Alright. Oh, wait, what just happened? I have no idea what just happened right there. The dynamics busted out, but why? Wow. Okay, that's a new one. Well, I mean, thankfully I've got a wheel assembly completed. So this is salvageable. You know, I could actually finish this build. But wow, yeah, that's the first. I've never actually seen that happen before on anything that I've ever built with dynamics. What punched these out down here? I have no idea. Something must have fused. That's the only thing I can think of. And then when I started breaking stuff up here, it had to give somewhere, and that must have been the give. I don't know. If I can salvage this, great. If not, I guess I'll be back on next week with starting over. And I mean, if anything, I could probably build it quicker anyway. And I've got the cable laid correctly this time as to where I want to build. Well, let's see what we can do. Another nice thing about Sandbox is when you get into situations like this, it is so much easier to, you know, just pop some balloons, do what you got to do to get it where you need it to go. You don't have to worry about the materials. Yeah, very nice. Well, phooey. I just realized this whole assembly needs to be ripped out anyway. But not if it's holding it up. Okay, it doesn't look like it is. I wonder what's actually holding it up. This maybe? Okay, so now that's where I want it. And to build the assembly back over, I'm going to try 2 more balloons and see if that gives us the lift we need. Okay, this might be okay. Okay, yeah, so I could probably salvage if, you know, if I really wanted to continue on with this. The problem now I'm going to have is it's going to want to roll forward. So I might just have to build this whole thing all over again next week, guys. Apologies. I was really hoping I could actually turn it on and play with it tonight, but at least you saw the build steps. And Yeah, I just need it to be forward and backward. One more build going this way. Okay, so that one would have had 2 4x4s space in between that. And the front one, I guess, just 2 as well. Yeah, okay. Well, lesson learned. So now I can't actually break this because it's actually the only thing holding the whole thing up right now. I don't know if I can get enough lift to get the rest of this. I'll try. It's trying. It's trying real hard. Yeah, now it's wanting to roll forward. So I'm going to have to brace it. Yeah, honestly, just because of all the blunders tonight, you know, with the track, and I might just do this next week. Or maybe I'll do an unscheduled one of these nights and, you know, start over with the vehicle part of things. Yeah, well, sorry guys. You see the build steps now at least. And assuming you watch this all the way to the end, you know, you won't have these hiccups that I just had. And what blew these builds out down here, I'm still completely baffled. So I'm just going to chalk this one up to, I don't know if that's a glitch, but whatever in the heck happened there, it shouldn't have. So I'm just going to chalk this one up to technical difficulties. And yeah, I'll come back on next week and we'll try to get through this, you know, in a better step-by-step fashion. And I'll just have to remember this here. It was 2, not 1, or not 3, but 2 spacers before the inner and outer. And then I think this one was 2 also. So yeah, everything is actually spaced 2. 2 from the edges, all the way around. Alright guys, I am going to go ahead and call this one. We have been on long enough tonight. And if I am being honest, sometimes this is what keeps me up until the wee hours of the morning, because I just can't put it down. Like, I have to stay up and I have to fix it and I have to build it, and then it breaks again, and then I leave render distance and something else goes wrong, and then I'm up until like 5 o'clock in the morning dealing with this stuff. So yeah, this is how it happens. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, for the purposes of the tutorial next week, yeah, I'll go ahead and clear this mess out, and we will start over, and we will get her done. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed it regardless. If you wouldn't mind, take a moment, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until the next time, next week, best of luck and happy building.